The following is a presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Student-led, student-centered, student-serving.
And welcome in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans, and tonight's matchup for senior night will be quite the night indeed. Frederick, a divided 10-10 on the season. They're sitting at .500 whenever it comes to their record. Niwot, the Niwot Cougars, who they're facing off against tonight, are 4-17 with a .190, 190 record, which, when you put the two head-to-head, it's not great statistically for Niwot going into this game. Niwot tonight has 5 seniors. Granted, it's not their senior night, but I mean, it's always nice to highlight the opposing team seniors just as much as we're highlighting ours. A few of the players that I'd like to kind of highlight for Frederick. All of these obviously are not seniors. Most of the people that I'm going to be highlighting are actually juniors, but I mean, they are quite the threat indeed and make up a decent amount of the team. First one that I'd like to kind of talk about is Davis. Right now, whenever you're looking at the leaderboard, he is going off. He's making 50% of all the shots that he has thrown up, and he's averaging almost 5 rebounds a game. And Burton is still a lethal weapon when it comes to his assists. He's sitting at about 3.5-ish assists per game. But granted, we've seen him struggle when it comes to threes on the season. Beginning of the season, he locked in, but he was struggling going forward to make some of those deep threes. As we're going to take a moment to go down to Frida Wishman on the sideline. Frida.
Thank you, Carly. Tonight's game is senior night, Frederick versus Niwot. Niwot on a bit of a rough patch right now, 12-game losing streak. It should be a good game for Frederick. Seniors hoping to make a win, and it should be a good game. Thank you. Back up to you.
Thank you so much, Frida, and we're going to go to the anthem now. After the anthem, going back to kind of what I was talking about, Justice's threes have been on fire just as equally as pretty much majority of the team have been on fire in general. He's averaging almost 15 points a game, which when you look statistically, some of their wins have just been by a margin of that 15 points or less, and so he's made a considerable impact on some of these more recent wins. And for Niwot, some of the threats to kind of keep an eye out for tonight, Rohit Das, he's going to be quite the lethal weapon. He's averaging almost 12 points a game, so both your top point contending leaders are pretty equal whenever you look at them statistically speaking. And Henry Noblin, he's also going to be quite the matchup. He has the highest number of rebounds, and he's averaging almost 5 rebounds a game, which when you compare that with Davis, Davis is also averaging about 5 rebounds a game. These two are pretty even matched whenever you look at their top contending leaders. As Frida was talking about, she was mentioning how Niwot is 4-17 on the season. That's sort of what I touched on earlier. And with them being 4-17, they've struggled actually these past 12 games. They're at a 12-game losing streak, like Frida was talking about in the last game that they played against Monarch. after looking at starters, kind of what I was touching on was Frederick versus Niwot, and the last time that they both played Monarch, which that was Niwot's last game that they played, and Niwot lost, but Frederick, they actually lost against Monarch the last time that they played on January 28th. They lost 60-68. It was an extremely close game, but Frederick's last game, they played Horizon and they lost 53-82. Quite the beating. Unfortunate for Frederick, but hoping to make it over 500 officially on the season as the tip-off is underway. And Aldana, Jovan Aldana, what a moment for him to just be able to play one single moment for his last game. You know, it's not the way that he wanted it to look. It's not the way that the team wanted it to look. But just for him to go out there for at least one moment left in his basketball career for high school, it really means a lot for number 24, Aldana. As we are underway now, Niwot already shifting. And the ball will swing to Martin. Martin, though, gets lost in the traffic. And Gebs, Justice. Justice is going to send it back in. Justice finds Martin. Martin dumps back to Justice. Justice searching, trying to take it himself, driving. And first call of the night. So the Cougars are going to bring it back in. Stens finds Doss. Doss is the threat that we told you to keep an eye out for at the beginning of this game, pregame. Already kind of a sloppy start for either team. Frederick not so much, but both teams struggling to really gain any sort of momentum as it's been very, very shallow of a start. Clapp finds Justice. Justice finds Ledgerwood. Ledgerwood searching. Back to Clapp. Clapp driving down the middle. Doss saw him. They get it to Gebs. Gebs driving underneath the basket as he tried to dump it off to Ledgerwood in the corner. It has been extremely quiet. You can almost hear a pin drop. Gebs gonna send it back in for Frederick. Either team looking for the first points of the night. Gebs. Justice with a one-handed catch. Justice trying to shake off Stens. Stens back on Justice. Justice sends it to Clapp. Clapp driving. Being covered by Demel. And Ledgerwood will shoot for the three. And outside the arc is no good. So Austin Ledgerwood's first attempt, not what they wanted, as now it'll swing to Buckby. Buckby finds Doss. Doss, and he will sink the first points of the night. His little retribution moment outside the arc, good for the first points for the Niwot Cougars. Doss snags the rebound. Doss searching. He'll send it back to Stens. Stens will send it across the court, where Buckby, another one of the seniors tonight for the Niwot Cougars, sinking it now 6-0. Frederick kind of falling into an early trap, an early hole. Ledgerwood almost trips up Doss. Clapp trying to shake off Demel. He's being guarded, finds Ledgerwood. Ledgerwood all alone. Ledgerwood dumps it off to Martin. Martin not able to get it. Jump ball. And this possession will swing to the way of the Cougars as Stens, another one of the seniors for tonight. First foul for Frederick. Already 2 fouls, though, for the Niwot Cougars. Something for them to keep in mind. We're only a few minutes into this game. As Noblin gets it to Demmel. Demmel driving. Kind of got underneath Frederick's skin early on. Gebs. And the call will be on Buckby. This is their 3rd foul with 5 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in this first quarter. As a sub-in, Rodansky will come in, trying to get their seniors as much playing time as they probably can with these last few games. I mean, whenever you look at the season, Frederick, for Niwot at least, Frederick, they're contending up against, and then they go up against Erie on the 18th. So kind of back-to-back big games for them as Ledgerwood, first points of the night for Frederick. Frederick now closing the gap, 6-3. Your Golden Eagles trailing by 3. Funny enough, Sten's had it, number 3 for the Niwot Cougars. And Justice will just let that fall out of bounds. 4 minutes and 40 seconds as Martin brings it in, finds Justice. Justice lobs it over to Ledgerwood. Ledgerwood, quick pass to Gebs. He's not able to keep his hands on it. To Shane, bounced right off the fingertips. Interesting note, whenever you look at the girls' game versus this boys' game, there's an entirely new officiating crew, which I know a lot of the parents were extremely upset at some of the calls that some of the refs were making for the girls' game. I was there for a decent chunk of the game. I'd say about the bottom half of the game, and they were frustrated. There were parents that were complaining pretty outright about the refs, and even Coach Hansen, I know, got pretty up in their faces as Dawes. With another shot, Rohit Dawes. He's been on point tonight already for the Niwot Cougars. 2 threes outside the arc as Dawes will take a tumble, and it'll be another questionable moment as Gebs will take his first personal, and Ledgerwood and Lechuga will swap places. 3 minutes and 48 seconds, 9-3 your Golden Eagles trailing by 6. It's been a relatively slow start for both teams. I mean, we've seen Dawes drop 2 threes. As quick pass to Stens. Stens is able to find Noblin, and Noblin was able to get it to Donahoe. Fast passing for the Niwot Cougars, 11-3. Niwot leading. As Claps, ball will fall shy of the mark. It'll be an air ball. And Clapp and Burton will now trade places. Three minutes and 16 seconds remaining, still remaining at 11-3. It's been a slow start. Noblin right underneath. Martin gets under his skin though, as he's able to bat it away. Lechuga finds Gabs. Gabs driving. Gabs, his frustration just brewing. I mean, if I were him, you really just want points. You're struggling in that aspect early on. Under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Gebs now with possession. Gebs get it to Burton. Burton, we talked about his struggles outside the arc. And although it bounced a little, the lid was removed from the basket for Zach Burton. 6-11. As Stens gonna send it to Donahoe. Donahoe, he's been a threat right underneath the basket. Trying to get it to Noblin. And that call will fall on Justice. And Doss, once again, he's been on point. Whole bench comes up for the Niwot Cougars. 3 threes here tonight already for Doss in the first quarter. Burton looking for his second. Drives within the arc, though. Gets it to Justice. Justice finds Burton. Burton taking his second attempt at another 3. No good. Doss gets it outside to Noblin. Noblin pivoting, finds Doss. Doss driving, tries to get away from Gibbs.
Gibbs' shoulder just getting caught right in there. Easy call, pretty much easy call for the ref.
As might I give an official welcome to Zoe Wittler. Zoe, how did it feel to win that game, huh?
I mean, pretty good. It was kind of sloppy, I thought, and we came out really slow, but sometimes you got to win within the sloppy games, and so I'm happy at least we were able to pull it out and within a pretty good lead as well.
Exactly. I mean, man, I was crying just watching you guys whenever they were calling for all the seniors, and my gosh, it's weird to think that this next game after this is going to be your last. 2 more? 2 more.
It definitely is weird, though. Like, it honestly hasn't really hit me yet. Like, it hit me earlier today. We were setting up our tables, and then hasn't hit again. Just, doesn't feel real.
Exactly. Justice finds Lechuga. Lechuga, quick pass underneath to Martin. Martin underneath the basket. Gets it snatched by Donahoe.
Martin looking for Davis wide open in that paint there. Just couldn't get around the Niwot defender there. Good read by Niwot. But, Martin, good luck. Just, maybe better pass next time so we can get it to him.
As I was saying, speaking on, you thought your game was sloppy. That was kind of a sloppy-ish pass. I think that was probably the best way to kind of put it. As Burton, Doss covering. Gets it to Lechuga. Lechuga finds Martin. Martin takes the shot off the mark. Rodansky snags the rebound, gets it to Doss. Doss quickly taking another shot. This time didn't work. 1 in a million chance where he hasn't shot it and made it. I mean, he's been on point. He was someone that we talked about before and how he's averaging about 12 points a game. Justice, though, we talked about how he's sitting in a very similar boat, but just with the advantage of 14 points a game. So talking about how those two are kind of a fun matchup. I mean, they're both spunky in how they play. They both kind of have, not necessarily an attitude, but they have, they have an ego rightfully that they've built up, I think, for themselves. And the averages and, the games, even though Doss and the Niwot Cougars haven't come out on top all the time, right, with their 12-game losing streak. That's rough. But a lot of their games have been very, very close, and he has been at the forefront at all of those games. And so to have a leader like that, and it's the same case with Justice, to have leaders like that, it's kind of nice.
Well, someone has to do it, You can't just have all 5 saying the other person will do it, or for that matter, the whole team, all 11, 12, however many, say, the next person will do it, next person will do it. At some time, someone has to step in, and for Frederick, that's been Justice.
Exactly. Donahoe with possession gets it to Doss. Doss quickly. And that'll be a travel. Travel called on Doss. Both teams already sitting in the bonus. My goodness. Really nothing much to worry about, though, with 45 seconds remaining in this first quarter. For Niwot, though, they were kind of riding a fine line even within the first few minutes of the game where they already had 3 fouls. And, you still had 5.5 minutes left. So they really have to watch that because that could have played to Frederick's advantage. It hasn't, but
definitely a smart adjustment then by Niwot to recognize, hey, the refs are calling a little bit tighter than we were anticipating, so make the adjustment, stay aggressive, but hold back on fouling.
Exactly. Stens. Ball gets snatched by Martin. Martin trying to get it underneath to Burton. Burton, though, the communication and the pass. A little shallow of the mark, gets it to Burton. Burton, third time was not the charm. But Martin able to finish it off, bringing this 10-16. Your Golden Eagles only trailing by 6 now. That clock counting down. And it'll swap to Frederick's ball. Doss, I mean, he's a threat, but he also is kind of making some of these costly mistakes. And it hasn't become costly quite yet because you're still looking at an early time in the game. But if he continues to kind of make some of these sloppy mistakes, we might be looking at a much closer game if he kind of allows these extra moments to kind of pop up.
He's going to watch that 100%, and Frederick needs to capitalize on that.
Yes. Couldn't have said it better myself. As 10-16, your Golden Eagles only trailing by 6, as we will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Welcome back in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans, alongside with me, the one, the only, Zoe Wittler.
I think it's been really cool to see, Niwot and just the growth their program has made. Walker Bounds is their head coach. This is his 2nd year there. And you can just already see, the improvement, the stuff that he's, changed since becoming head coach. And, talked to him a little bit earlier with one of my brothers, in fact, and coach was just saying, still working on changing some of the culture there. But you can tell so far the difference, the change that has been made.
I mean, he's truly made an impact. I mean, he really, really has. And that much is clear. Stens driving justice, neck and neck. As Stens will hit the court.
Fouls on Davis. First personal, first team foul court.
Stens at the line. Touching on kind of that capitalization. You were talking about how trying to swing it towards Frederick's way with some of these mistakes that the Niwot Cougars have made early on, but it can also swing the other way, right? And it's that whole 50-50 of, you have to play just as well, and you can't be penalized for dumb things that can give them an advantage.
It's exactly the same method, and I think this, really is where Frederick's at right now, is making a comeback. It's not just you're down 7, go score 7 points. It's you all have to get defensive stops. And, more likely than not, you're not going to be able to prevent them from scoring however many possessions it takes for you to score 7 points. So now you're looking at play good defense, just like that whole thing. So it's not just, it's not making a few mistakes. It's can Frederick capitalize, play better than Niwot.
Exactly. Burton drove and tried to take it himself, but this will just fall back into the hands of Donahoe.
Fouls on Burton. First personal, 17 foul. Out of bounds, Cougars.
Burton's first foul of the night. Frederick sitting at 2 fouls now. 6 minutes and 56 seconds in this half. As Donahoe kind of limping awkwardly. He'll be taken off as there's a substitute. And Wisecup, his ball will get intercepted by Martin. Something that he has been oh so good at. Never mind. Can go either way. Wisecup tried to keep it in for Niwot, does, but it'll swing to the way of Frederick. As Lechuga trying to drill his first 3 of the night. Stens. Cougars will take a timeout. We're going to take a look at Zoe's keys. Zoe's, what are your keys for tonight?
My 3 keys for tonight are 1, rebound. Frederick needs to control the boards. You've seen it, Niwot's had multiple opportunities after their first attempt to go up at the basket again, which has either resulted most of the time in a foul or 2 points. Next, they need to come out with energy. They needed to start this game and continue this game with a bunch of energy, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the 3rd key, which is don't overlook. You said that Niwot is on a 13 losing streak. That doesn't mean anything for Frederick
12.
right now. Excuse me, 12 points.
Regardless, it's not great, right?
12-point losing streak, or 12-game losing streak, but that's not something that Frederick needs to overlook. And so because of that, you need to come up with a lot of energy, capitalize, and get this game.
Couldn't agree more. Lemon sends it off to Wisecup. Wisecup quickly gets it to Stens. Stens keeping possession, finds Wisecup. Doss back in. Hoping to clean up his act as they capitalize early on. Luke Demmel, the senior, drilling it for 3. 10-20 now. As that will be the first official foul for the Niwot Cougars. Frederick still remaining at 2. Burton finds Lechuga. Lechuga tiptoeing along the side as Martin goes for the 3. Somehow gets it to Davis. Davis, tough pass to Lechuga. Lechuga.
There's those rebounds we were talking about. Caden fought for that rebound, give it to Davis, eventually giving it to Lechuga. Nice little floater there.
Which those rebounds are probably going to be crucial in this game because Niwot, it just feels like they're playing at the same, if not better caliber as Frederick right now. Like they do not look like a 4-17 team. Which granted, I think you go into every game kind of with a clean record, right? Like a clean slate. Don't focus on kind of what you've been dealing with. Try and focus on what you can kind of push through and persevere with. As Doss will get it to Wisecup. Wisecup closely being guarded by Davis. Somehow gets it to Lemon. As Lechuga pulls a fake one on Doss. It goes up.
Nice change of pace there by Dante, able to freeze the defense and hit steps, drive right around. Didn't get the bucket to fall, but that was the right decision.
Niwot stands. Gonna bring this into Doss. Doss, he's launched a couple triples, and he's kind of cleaned up his act. So he's been deadly. Burton watching as Doss shifts his team. Gets it to Demmel. Demmel back to Doss. Doss sends it to Stens. Stens to Wisecup. Wisecup to Doss. Doss taking another shot. It's no good. Kind of ironic for Lemon with the 0-0 number. He was the one who committed the double dribble. Bit of irony. 12-20, 8-point difference, 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in this half. Lechuga looking to make more of a dent in this lead that Niwot has kind of held strong with. And Justice will do it. Justice bringing this to a 6-point game. Only 3 deep arcs away from tying this game. Demmel will pass it back to Buckby. And Buckby will capitalize as he'll go to the line. 3 fouls now for Frederick.
That'll be Gibbs' 4th foul. Kind of, a tough spot for him to be in where he's only second quarter. You only have one more foul till you're out of the game. In his defense, that last call right there, he had his hands straight out, maybe got caught with the body, but not much better defense you can play.
And once again, Justice shooting from outside the arc. Burton, we saw Davis snag that rebound. We talked about how crucial that is. Hard pass underneath to Davis. Davis under the basket. And he does not capitalize. Demmel. He'll come up with it as Buckby trying to shake off Garcia. Buckby, quick pass to Stens. Stens searching, dumps it to Doss. Doss gets it to Demmel. Demmel gets it back to Doss. Doss tiptoeing, gets it to Buckby. Buckby pivots, gets it back to Doss. Doss trying to go underneath to get it to Wisecup, but gets intercepted. Burton dumps it to Davis. Davis!
Davis perfectly getting those 2 feet under him, going straight up, drawing the contact for the and one. It's like right out of the rule book.
I was going to say, that was pretty impressive. Mentioned Davis and Burton. Both of them were kind of crucial assets, too, going into this game. I mean, whenever you look at, their playing style, and although Burton has kind of struggled with those threes, and we've talked about that a lot during some of these previous games, these more recent games, but he has been extremely consistent with those assists, and his ability to snag a rebound, too. I mean, it's just as equally as impressive as I would say Martin does.
And with that last pass, for example, he attacked, drew the defender over to him, and then just dumped it right down. The whole time as he's drawing the defender, and he's keeping his eyes on Davis, or whoever might be in that situation, and that's perfect.
16-22 now, a 6-point difference, but this will send Doss to the line, as this will be Justice's 2nd foul. You kind of missed kind of early on whenever they were playing the first few minutes of the game. I mean, it was back-to-back kind of penalized moments for Gibbs. And you can't help but feel bad because his frustration was imminent. Like, he was getting ticked, rightfully so. I mean, he had 2 calls pretty much back-to-back that you were just like, maybe give him a little bit of a break, right? Like, there were moments where it was kind of questionable whether or not there should be a call. And some of the parents were not too happy about it, but just got to roll with the refs. But frustrating spot, as you said, for Gibbs to be in, stuck at 4. And it's one of those where the next time that you play, that's kind of indicative of if you can play for the rest of the game.
Right. And definitely something you learn every game, just, playing, is that you have to adjust to the refs every single game. There's no like right and wrong. It's just, every refs are going to call it different. Even within that game, you have 3 refs. Even they might call it, differently from each other. So you just got to learn to adjust.
As Wittler, now in the game, gets it to Justice. Justice gets the ball off before it gets intercepted by Buckby. Foul will fall on Wittler. Now sitting at 5 fouls. As this will send Noblin to the line, 18-24. 2 more attempts for points for Noblin with 1:53 in this first half. As we're going to take a timeout. Zoe, one interesting thing I do have to say is how quickly, which granted this can happen kind of with any game, right? But just how quickly these fouls have been stacking up for either team. And, I would say that Niwot has kind of toned down their playing style, not necessarily in the aggressiveness, but sort of what they're going for versus what they're not, right? Kind of what they're jumping on. And I kind of like the approach that they're taking with it. I've seen kind of this aggressive manner, and they're biting but they're also knowing when to draw back. And I feel like Frederick is kind of struggling with that whole analogy of like where do you kind of put the foot down, and that's kind of led to them having 5 fouls and sending Niwot to the bonus, which they can't afford to have, especially kind of trailing this entire game.
There's been a few forced passes, and I've also noticed that there are times when Niwot gets a steal, a rebound, whatever it is, and are hustling down, and they beat quite a few Frederick players down the floor. If you're Frederick, you got to be hustling your butt off to get down there.
Yes.
And at the very least, make it a difficult shot.
I mean, whenever you kind of give it to them, it's like, might as well just hand it to them on a silver platter, which is not what Frederick needs, especially whenever you look at the fact that they have not been able to overcome Niwot's score once in this game so far. They've been trailing since the beginning. And it started with Doss banging 2 threes early on, which kind of set the tone, too, for the game and how aggressive Niwot was going to play. Granted, we haven't seen them make as many threes as the game has kind of progressed, but they've also, both teams have kind of settled down on their haunches, but Frederick just hasn't played at that Niwot caliber yet. As Burton has possession. Gets it to Clapp. Clapp. Back over to Burton. Burton driving. Somehow tries to get it to Martin over the head. Martin signaling, my bad, my bad. As Donahoe finds Stens. Stens back to Donahoe. Donahoe searching. Can't find anyone, and just takes it himself. Way over the rim, though. Wittler gonna bring this in. As he gets it to Clapp. Deep ball to Burton. Burton to Garcia. Garcia trying to get out of the trap Buckby has. And the ball will be way too far out of bounds.
With the trapping half-court press like that, you can't settle for the skip passes, across the floor. Maybe that can bail you out here and there, but you can't settle for those. That being said, it's not just, the passer's fault. The other players also need to, be better about getting open.
Couldn't agree more. Donahoe has possession and will get the travel called on him. 3 fouls now. 58.7 seconds remaining in this half. Clapp gets it to Burton. Back to Clapp. Dump off to Lechuga. Lechuga gets it to Wittler. Wittler searching, pivots, finds Lechuga. Lechuga back to Burton. Burton covered by Stens. Stens catches a lacking, finds Wittler wide open. Too short. It was a good look. Just didn't quite have the velocity that it needed. Although Frederick has struggled with these deep threes and some of these passes where they've been kind of like deep lobs, they've attacked the rim really well. Every single time that I've seen them kind of drive down to the basket, they've done an extremely excellent job. I would even argue superb, maybe even over Niwot, with either getting the call on Niwot or finding a way to kind of drive and weave through the Niwot players in order to capitalize.
Absolutely. Just the act of driving into the paint opens so much on the floor.
As Donahoe now sitting at 5 fouls apiece. This will bring Clapp to the line for the bonus. Still sitting at 18-24, 18 seconds remaining. Now 19, scratch that. Finally, this deficit though, knock on wood, there's gotta be wood up here somewhere. Yes, I just knocked on the floor. But this deficit kind of closing in now, right? 20, 24, Frederick kind of inching closer. Something that we've seen them kind of struggle with whenever they've gotten closer. Now what's kind of edged away from them, and it's been a threat. as Buckby somehow gets the ball off. And that clock winding down as he got it to Rodansky. Rodansky with possession somehow gets it to Buckby. Buckby will take the shot. If it would have made it, it would have beat the buzzer. No good though. 20-24 at half. Zoe, I would argue this is one of the more entertaining games that we've seen though. I mean, it's not necessarily, it's been like back and forth. It's just been a lot of press and a lot of, I don't want to argue like angst. Like that's not the right word. I would probably say concentration from Niwot and kind of a lack there of a Frederick. But Frederick has also started to play at a better caliber as the nights kind of gone on and they've improved.
Frederick's made the right adjustments to, slowly but surely start to chip away at Niwot's lead.
As we're going to go down to the sideline now with Frida Wishman. Frida.
Thank you, Carly and Zoe. I'm down here with Coach Conway. Coach, what needs to happen to get more points in the paint and get around Niwot's defense?
Well, that's part of our problem. We're 2 for 16 from the three-point line. We got to get more paint touches and start getting to the paint and get to the free throw line. They're calling fouls. We just got to get there.
And how do you plan to try and rally your team to come out and start the second half even stronger?
Well, we got to have more intensity defensively. We got to get some turnovers and get some fast break points.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Coach.
You,
Thank you. Back up to you, Carly and Zoe.
And thank you, Frida, as after she kind of mentioned sitting at point 125, which as far from the one as you possibly can be, right? Like that full completion rate. But hopefully they can kind of improve on that record as the night goes on outside the arc. And looking at those deep balls, we talked about how they struggled with that. And that is kind of super, it's an example of it, and they've struggled. And although they've struggled, hopefully they'll be able to capitalize as the night goes on and just improve as we've seen them kind of gradually do. 20-24, your Frederick Golden Eagles trailing by 4 at half. We will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadell Realty and specifically Greg Zadell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadell Realty.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
In Frederick, we believe in rolling up our sleeves, not just for ourselves, but for each other. We believe in playing outside until the stars flicker on and protecting the hallowed ground of childhood. We believe in a lifelong commitment to actions as good as our intentions. We believe in the power of our voices and the obligation of our hearts to form a strong foundation. We believe we are onto something that's worth all we can give it. Here, the life we dream of is ours to create.
I think the future is bright for Frederick. I think we understand our identity and who we are, and we don't want to lose that.
The town is really built on the community of people and how everyone almost treats people like family.
I see an opportunity to have a seat at the table and to show our worth and our value and our undeniable characteristics of being a lovely community that's welcome to all.
Hi, I'm Coach. Hey, Kyle Michael here with Michael Real Estate and Remax Momentum, and I'm here at my office in downtown Frederick, Colorado. As a Colorado native and a resident to Frederick over the last 8 years, we truly understand the entire Carbon Valley and Colorado market. With offices in Frederick, Brighton, and Westminster, I cover the entire Front Range area. I've served over 130 families from Alt to Monument to Deer Trail to Grand Lake. As a small business owner myself, I understand how much time and effort it takes to be successful, which is why I continue to support local businesses, schools, and nonprofits through our Sip and Support series, coat drives, and other events. I value hardworking individuals. It is my mission to continue giving back as much as I can. We would love to serve you or your family. Give us a call, 303-944-4191, and go Golden Eagles.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadell Realty, and specifically Greg Zadell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community.
Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadell Realty.
Like most backseat drivers, I'm all about safety. Uh-oh! Les Schwab Tires is too. Because Les Schwab fixes brakes, steering, and more. See those guys? They just do tires. Eyes ahead, Dad! Look, I'm not telling people how to do their job. Blinker, I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first. Watch, they're gonna come greet me.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Hey, I'm...
in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans, alongside here with Zoe Wittler, and we are pumped for the second half. As the clock winds down, Frederick only trailing by 4. This game has just gotten gradually closer and closer, and we talked about that before break even, about how I believe personally that this second half is going to be pretty entertaining if both teams can kind of clean up their act. And based off of how Niwot has already kind of started to do that and go down that route, I'm excited to see where Frederick can possibly go with it too. Buckby gonna bring it in for Niwot, gets it to Doss. Lechuga covering, gets it back to Buckby. Buckby almost gets swatted by Davis underneath to Stens. And 2 back-to-back questionable moments starting off this second half as Demmel will get it to Doss, and he gets denied, but at the costly moment of sending Doss to the line, Lechuga clearly not happy about it.
Whether it's all ball or not, refs are looking for that downward just swipe pretty much. And that's exactly what Lechuga showed them, and so they're going to call that foul 9 times out of 10.
Hey, Lechuga wanted the 1 and 10. Rightfully so. 20-26 now. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. As Lechuga hoping to kind of have his moment of retribution as they find Martin. Martin back to Lechuga. Lechuga, little shove from Buckby, gets it to Davis. Davis in the corner as Martin loses his hand on it. Martin, Buckby watching him. Martin dumps it back to Burton. Burton got to retain possession as he drives and penetrates the defense. (22-26). A little under 7 minutes now. As now, this will swing the way for Frederick. Justice. As Dawes will kind of take a breather and Lemon will step in. Burton trying to shift, calling Morton. Justice all alone. Falls down for dramatic effect, but he doesn't get it. 6.5 minutes now, still sitting at a 4-point deficit. And I don't know what in the world Stens was thinking. Might I just say, wow, what a pass. Lechuga finds Davis. Davis, dump off. And somehow they get it back to Lechuga. Lechuga drawing this even closer.
Frederick.
We were on the same wavelength. 25-26. 1 point difference. Not if they leave Lemon alone in the corner. Never mind. Lemon, rough air ball. 5 minutes, 50 seconds. Not the shot he wanted. Wasn't a great look either. I mean, he had potential. He was wide open. He just overshot it. Which Frederick, I think, should give their own moment of recognition, maybe a little bit clapping, because there's still only a 1 point difference in this game. And that would have kind of brought them back to that hole that they've fallen into, that trap of 4 points, 4 or 5. As Noblin will just lose it, giving it to Lechuga. And it'll be Frederick's possession.
Smart basketball play by Lechuga. The ball just overthrown out of his head, and instead of trying to just, blindly chuck it back in bounds, he hits it off Niwot's foot.
Burton gonna send this back in for Frederick. And this will swing the way for Niwot. Lemon lands on it, jump ball. I think it's fair to say that having 2 Niwot Cougars fall on top of it at the same time, I think it's a pretty safe bet that you got the jump ball. As, once again, Donahoe sending it back in. 5.5 minutes, a little under. Still that 1-point deficit. Frederick still trailing as Burton trying to get his hand on it. And Demmel will somehow persevere through Martin. Quite the effort as he attacked the rim with poise. Now 25-28, 3-point deficit. They're falling back into that trap. They're giving separation as Stens went for the shot.
Both teams struggling with the outside perimeter shot right now, kind of needing to find something else to get their offense going.
Burton driving, just a little shy of the mark. 4.5 minutes. Burton trying to let it fly to Martin, but Stens.
That'll be 2 times in a row that Frederick's thrown a turnover from an out-of-bounds play.
Which, not great. I mean, it's like that whole thing of like, right, if it happens once, cool, but if it happens twice, there's like a weird inconsistency with your passing that's going on, and you really have to kind of thatch that hole, because otherwise you're going to struggle with it all night. As Justice will go to the line. First one is good. 26-28. And second one. Once again, 1-point game. As Burton tried to get a hand on it, Lemon finds a wide open Wise Cup. Zoe, would you argue that they're playing too soft of a defense / almost not keeping up with the pacing of Niwot?
I think they need to take care of the ball more on offense. There's, they've had multiple times where there's just been, turnovers, whether the passing's off or, they're trying to force something, and just Frederick needs to, they need points right now. That's obvious. But in order to do that, you have to play smart.
And Martin intercepts. Martin dump off. Gets it to Burton. Burton capitalizes and slashes to the hoop. 29-31. 3.5 minutes now in this third quarter. Lechuga They have been on par with intercepting these routes, though. Clap, pressure, Lemon goes down. Justice, wide open, off the mark. Jumping back into the action, Lemon trying to get it. And I mean, it would have been quite the lob if you ask me, but my goodness, way over the head of Wise Cup. Frederick, though, I mean, I can't argue that they've done much better. They've struggled with those deep passes. Justice driving, gets it over the head of Lemon to Clap, Clap to Justice, Justice. Lemon guarding him closely, pivots, tries to go up, but it'll be Niwot who's cleaning the glass. 2 minutes and 45 seconds as Martin, he must think we're playing Frogger.
Doesn't help that Justice stayed on the other side of the floor the whole time. You know, frustrating that he didn't get that call, but you got to get up and hustle back on defense because Niwot had a 5-on-4 advantage.
Stens finds Wise Cup. Wise Cup gets it to Demel. Demel pivots. Martin trying to snatch the ball. He was close. He was antsy. Stens gets it to a wide open Wise Cup. Wise Cup knew he didn't have it. And Justice driving. He is frustrated. But as you put it, and as we've talked about in games prior, this emotion aspect, you can let it show for like a glimpse or like a glimmer of a moment. But the second that you let it kind of control your gameplay, that's whenever it becomes a problem. And I would argue that it's almost becoming a problem for him, and it can't for them, right? Like, he is the threat that they always look to for outside the arc. And although they've struggled tonight with that, he's also been great right underneath the basket. And to kind of lose that asset of how dangerous he is as a player, and early on too, I mean, you're still in the third quarter. I mean, you have a whole another quarter and a half to go. You can't lose his competitiveness whenever he's upset. You talked about even how he sat there for pretty much one entire drive and just kind of was laying there, which I totally get it, right? You're frustrated and you're losing, and now you're tied, but you're stuck. And
absolutely, you can't check yourself out of the game. Your team needs you.
Stens to the free throw line. 31-31. Finally, these two teams all knotted up. But this might change. It doesn't quite yet. Justice back in. Replacing Clap. Stens. 1 point is the difference. Lechuga gets it to Wittler. Wittler finds Burton back behind. Burton, little bit up and around, and 33-32. Your Golden Eagles, their first lead of the night late in the third quarter. Still got to be kind of testy, though. You know, you're sitting in the bonus. Gets it to Rodansky. Rodansky gets it to Demel. Demel searching, gets it to Stens. Stens driving, trying to shake off Wittler. Trying to get it up over the head, and Davis securing the board. A little under a minute and a half. Lechuga pulls the spin move. Burton! 36-32. As Zach Burton launches a triple.
The defense is definitely paying off for Frederick right now, able to get some key rebounds and forcing Niwot to make some turnovers.
As Niwot trying to put together their own supple drive, and it will not do what they intended, as this will just sway directly to Lechuga. As Buckby will get the call on him. 45 seconds left in this third quarter. This is the biggest lead / the only lead that Frederick has had all night. But honestly, props to them, right? I mean, you've struggled to get on top, and as soon as you do, you bite back with a 3. And if that's not dedication, I don't know what is.
Now the challenge for Frederick is going to be to keep this lead or to build on it in order to pull this win.
Brief pause with a timeout. Jumping right back into the action. Burton searching to bring it in, but this will sway to Niwot. Stens now searching, gets it to Buckby. Buckby pivots, gets it back to Dawes. Dawes hasn't played in a hot minute. He's back though, hoping to continue his hot streak too. Dawes shakes out Burton, keeps moving, gets away from Martin's swat, but Wittler tried to go coast to coast. And Buckby has to watch himself. His fourth foul on the night. So he's kind of riding that fine line just as Gebs was earlier on. And if you're Buckby, you might be looking at Frederick and saying, well, you know, Gebs hasn't played in a quarter and a half, maybe even longer. So how indicative is that on how long he's going to be playing? Wittler, still 36-32, 24 seconds. 37-32. And speak of the devil, Logan Gebs back in the game. As Doss, they're trying to be mindful of that clock. Stens, deep lob across the court. Gets it to Doss. And Rodansky tried to go up. Instead, he will be sent to the line. 11.8 seconds. And second attempt, no good, 10 seconds. Counting, Burton gotta be mindful of the clock. And he doesn't capitalize this time. 36-33. Justice takes the last-ditch effort shot. No good. 37-33, your Frederick Golden Eagles' first extensive lead of tonight's game. We will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Welcome back, Golden Eagles. End of the third, about to start the fourth. Golden Eagles taking the lead. They have gotten better offensively and defensively, being more aggressive, getting on Niwot, staying on their man. I know that Frederick gotten a lot more points in the paint so far, and they just need to keep the energy that they have going in order to pull a win in senior night. Thank you so much. Back up to you, Carly and Zoe.
Thank you so much, Frida, as we welcome you back from the break. And Frida's hit 37-33 as we enter the final stretch between these two teams. Lechuga gonna bring it in to Justice. Justice driving, gets it back to Lechuga. Lechuga. Frida was talking about, aggressiveness on defense. I would say aggressiveness both on offense and defense, right? And that capitalization of these opportunities where you have Lechuga alone in the corner and, you're still taking the shots, but trying to hypothetically make them a little bit more.
And the whole reason Frederick got this lead is because of their aggressiveness on offense and defense. And so they need to keep this up in order to extend their lead.
Which is exactly what they're looking for, right? With a shallow lead such as this one in a game where it's been very, very close for a majority of it, and Frederick had to kind of climb up their own hill to get to where Niwot has been at the entire game. You don't want to give them that advantage of another lead that they've had this entire game. As Noblin somehow gets it over the head of Burton to Stens. Stens dumps it underneath to Noblin. 37-35, 7 minutes and counting left in this game. Justice finds Clapp all alone in the corner. Clapp driving, goes up, and he will capitalize.
Good take by Clapp, and a nice little floater there, getting it over the defense. He didn't want to, drive and try and get a layup. Both of them were there anticipating in the block, but the nice little floater, gave it time to go over their jumps and kind of also throw off the timing.
I mean, he was slashing through the defense, too. The defense just kind of let it happen. Stens gonna bring it back in for Niwot. Niwot still trailing, but trailing by 4 as Doss has possession. Doss, he'll take his own drive, and Davis with the quick reaction to clean the glass, and Frederick will have possession. 6 minutes, 15 seconds as Justice has it. Justice tries to shake around Rodansky.
Justice doing a good job of kind of getting his body in between the ball and the defender to protect the ball, and in that case, draw the foul.
And Lechuga bringing it in. Fast pass outside to Wittler. Wittler finds Martin. Martin trying to take his own drive. Gets it back outside to Wittler. Wittler trying to go for the 3. Short. Davis doesn't quite keep it in. He tried for the toe tap, though, which was impressive that he even had the opportunity. As Doss. Lechuga tried to trail, neck and neck with him. 39-38.
Very tricky shot there by Niwot, jumping down all the way across the floor to a pull-up three. A lot of mechanics go into that, so very impressive.
Wittler gets it to Lechuga. Lechuga will get the call. Stens gonna bring this in possession-wise for the Niwot Cougars. That 1 point difference haunting both teams now. This time, though, in favor of Frederick, but have to be careful that they've already let up another 3 or 4 consistently whenever they've held the lead. As Rodansky gets it to Doss. Doss gets it to Stens. Stens on the outside, searching. Davis covering. Gets it to Lemon. Back to Doss. Doss. Whew. I mean, if that's not a retaliation, I don't know what is. My goodness, he launched it. It just goes to show how big of an impact these players are, though. And you talked about that whole, if no one steps up, then where in the world are you going to go from there? But if you have one person who kind of lets the world rest on his shoulders, and not necessarily saying the rest of the team hasn't done anything, but, whenever you look at how consistent Doss has been, it's been terrifying. As before we jump into the action with now Frederick trailing by 2, which could definitely be dangerous. Let's take a look at FHS Booster Club. Frederick High School Booster Club carries on the long tradition of supporting the students of this community. The purpose of Booster Club is to provide the funding and manpower for the homecoming tailgate celebration. The after-prom party grants to student groups and clubs as well as scholarships to graduating seniors. We're always looking for parent volunteers, so if you're interested in becoming involved, we would invite you to reach out through our website, fhsbooster.com, and click on Contact Us, or attend our next meeting in the FHS Library. If you're wanting to be more involved in the community and have a desire to do something that benefits the students of our community, we'd love to hear from you. Again, please visit our website, fhsbooster.com, and click on Contact Us if you'd like to get involved. We welcome any supporters, not just parents. The FHS Booster Club is a proud partner of GEBN, as Rodansky almost gets stopped by Burton. And Doss has possession, driving. Rodansky trying to finish it off for him. 4 minutes, 16 seconds in this game. Clock continuing to wind. Doss gets it to Rodansky. Rodansky trying to shake Martin. Martin, though, resilient as per usual, snatches it.
But that last foul Davis picked up, that'll be his 4, so he's also got to play smart as well, just keeping game and time situations in mind.
And Justice. Rodansky keeping an eye on him. Wise Cup now covering Martin. Martin hits the spin move. And Davis, he's been oh so excellent with those rebounds. This game, though, is still stuck 39-41, as this will send Davis to the line. Zadell Realty, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, Greg Zadell at Zadell Realty is your community-centered go-to person. Greg is a local realtor and broker who's been selling homes in the Carbon Valley area since 1980. He's an active supporter of our community, FHS, and a proud partner of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. If you need a realtor with deep knowledge of the market, Greg Zadell is a great choice. Watch for his monthly real estate article in the Consumer Report or email him at greg@zadellrealty.com. Greg Zadell and Zadell Realty, your community-centered realtor. 41-41 this game, all knotted up. We've seen this a few times. Rodansky gets it to Wisecup. Wisecup shifts, gets it to Stens. And the travel called on Stens. 3.5 minutes. This is a crucial moment for Frederick. Can you capitalize? As Martin finds Lechuga. Lechuga. Stens. Back to Martin. Lechuga. Once again, these two are on par with their communication. 43-41. The jumper from Martin. Now 3 minutes in this clock. Sucking the lives and time out of this game. How exactly can Frederick stay on top with threats like Dawes? Dawes misses. Frederick able to secure the board. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Justice. Justice driving, gets it to Martin. Martin on the outside. And Stens. We'll bring it in for Niwot.
Traveling has been a common theme for both teams, penalizing them both, I would say pretty evenly, but definitely not the call you would want, to cause a turnover.
No. Granted, you don't really want any call, right? But I mean, whenever you're looking for a clean game, travel is pretty much the opposite of what you want.
One as much as it's been called or done tonight.
Yeah, especially because, it's one of those where, it's a fundamental of basketball, and to have it called not once, probably not twice, but more than 3 times, I would argue, is not great. As with your Golden Eagles leading 43-41, this game back and forth. The pendulum it is, as we will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Welcome back in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans. Alongside with me is Zoe Wittler. 43-41. Frederick hoping to make their record above 500. 11-10 is what they're looking for. Can they get it tonight? Stens gets it to Dawes. Dawes has been on par tonight. You've seen him as the lethal threat he is, as a dump off underneath from Wisecup to Stens, and back to Dawes. What a cold, cold three. 43-44. I believe that's his 5th or 6th on the night, because he had 2 or 3 in the first half. And he's just been kind of dropping them like flies. Which, if you're Frederick, it's got to take a significant toll on you as a team. Morale got to be pretty low. You're allowing Dawes to have an absurd amount of points, as Burton with the snatch doesn't quite pay off. Burton, though, hustling to it, gets it back to Niwot, and Niwot with Noblin will capitalize. Noblin is pumped, and their team, they're not going down without a fight, as now they lead Frederick by 3, hoping for more.
The difference between those two possessions is that Doss did a good job keeping his hands up, pretty much just letting Burton make any contact there is. So for a ref, there's, really no call. And over here on the other side, Martin jumps up and goes for the swat. That's a difference why for Frederick there wasn't a call and for Niwot there was.
As Davis, his knee bothering him. He kind of hit it funky, though. I'm sure it's not a great feeling, though, whenever you hit the court regardless and land on your leg. 1.5 minutes. Davis, clearly frustrated. Trying to shake it off, though, as he's still in. Lechuga finds Wittler. Wittler back to Lechuga. Lechuga, Wise Cup guarding him closely. Lechuga steps outside the arc. And what a cold, cold response from Dante Lechuga, making this a tie game, 46-46. This minute edging closer. Doss. They'll take the timeout. 1.5 minutes. This game all knotted up now, 46-46. And ironically enough, both teams sitting at 4 fouls. So we are about as even as you possibly can get entering the last stretch, the final last stretch of this game. It has been a fight, though, from both teams and both sides of the ball. The start was slow, and, Frederick kind of struggled to catch up with Niwot, but then Frederick kind of had their moment to come back, and it hasn't necessarily been downhill, but Niwot has kind of picked up on their patterns, and this is probably the most aggressive we've seen Niwot play tonight. Rightfully so, right? Your last 2 minutes are going to be the minutes that matter most in a game this close.
The closeness of this game definitely shows the grit on both teams not giving up without a fight.
As Doss has possession for Niwot. Doss snaking around the court, trying to shake off Burton. As Burton will run into Noblin. Doss, 50 seconds and counting. And Doss, what a mistake. .5 seconds. And a timeout will be taken by the officials as they're going to talk with Conway. Both coaches now meeting with the refs. Rightfully so, this could be the call that could turn the entire game one way or the other. Stens, Niwot still keeping possession. Stens trying to shift the Cougars around. Trying to find anything, finds Wise Cup. Wise Cup looked like he was going to take the shot himself, and it'll be a travel call. Oh, knotted up, 45.7 seconds. And Niwot with a crucial mistake. What a mistake by the Niwot Cougars with less than a minute. That travel has been really a bite in the butt of both teams. Both of them have felt the sting. And here, this is probably worse than a sting. This is a swarm of bees. If this will be the game-sealing thing. Frederick going to take a timeout. 34 seconds now. As Key Club need volunteer hours, want to help our community, then you should join Key Club, an international organization dedicated to service. Join us after school on the 2nd and 4th Monday of each month in room E118. And just a reminder that our broadcast is brought to you in part by United Power. At United Power, we're a proud partner of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network and proud to support local sports and local schools. United Power, your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative. As we get a look at the cheerleaders, who have been, I would argue, probably the biggest supporters through both games. Jumping back into the action, 34.1 seconds remaining, all knotted up, 46 apiece, 4 fouls apiece. Still sitting in the same boat, but this time Burton going to bring it in for Frederick. Will this travel be the game sealing penalty that finally puts the Niwot Cougars away? Lechuga stands covering. Not allowing any lane for Lechuga. And Lechuga shifting.
Smart timeout there by Conway. Lechuga's getting really close to that 5-second call.
I think that just goes to show, though, that Niwot, they were covering extremely well. Like, defensively, Frida was talking about how Frederick needed to lock down on defense. But, I mean, Niwot, I feel like they might have snuck in and heard the interview because they were locking in on defense. Lechuga was kind of feeling that press and that pressure, and Stens wasn't helping as he took a swat at the ball every, second.
Niwot's playing smart defense there, providing a lot of pressure but not fouling.
As this timeout comes to a close, in this game coming to a close with 19.9 seconds in this game. Burton, same position they were in 15 seconds ago. Lechuga, can they make something happen? Clock is winding, you just need a point. 10 seconds. 8 seconds. Lechuga driving. Dawes, you've given them a free opportunity. 2.1 seconds.
Not a bad take by Lechuga though. He had the angle, he had the attack, and honestly, it gives time, for Frederick had gotten the rebound to put it back up.
And he had the look, right? I mean, he had all the things that he needed. He just couldn't put the pieces all together, which is frustrating whenever you're missing just one puzzle piece, which in Lechuga's case, that's kind of where he was sitting. He was sitting in that boat where everything was aligning, just didn't capitalize. And what a crucial capitalization that would have been, putting Niwot in a pressure point where if you don't score within the next 5 seconds, that's game over. Niwot taking advantage of as much time as they possibly can in the timeout, rightfully so. They know what's at stake. Zoe. Zoe, what's the approach you would take with these 2.1 seconds remaining? What's the approach you would take?
I'd either send elevator screen or pass it into Doss and set him multiple screens.
Gets it to Stens. Stens takes the shot. No good! Way short of the mark. Stens, he had about a few feet. As we are going to extend this time period. And we will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadell Realty and specifically Greg Zadell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community.
Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadell Realty.
And welcome back in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans, alongside with the one, the only Zoe Wittler. Once again, another shout out to Greg Zadell. Without you, this program wouldn't be possible. Thank you for all the support that you give. And all the times I've been able to meet you, you have been nothing but nice and super supportive of our program. So we can't thank you enough. Greg Zadell. This time extending as Martin and Demmel. Doss finds Demmel in the back corner. Martin, though, keeping an eye on him. Justice, though. Justice with his own snatch. And Justice, 48-46. Early capitalization, which was the element that they were missing with those last 20 seconds. 3.5 minutes in the overtime. A lot of time slot as Stens will get it to Doss. Doss calling for Wodanski to shift and falls over, but Demmel will have a chance at a three. No good. And it'll be Burton securing the rebound. Lechuga finds Burton. Burton trying to shift, trying to get around Stens. Stens, what a commitment to stay with him. Finds Davis. Davis wide open, gets it back to Lechuga. Lechuga driving, dumps it underneath to Martin. Martin. Pass back to Davis. A no-looker. And Doss. Gonna bring it back in. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Doss. Niwot. And his lethal strike does not continue in overtime as of right now. A little under 2.5 minutes. As Lechuga gets it back. Justice, can he bang the three? Off the mark.
Both teams doing anything they can to try and calm their nerves in this overtime. You know, clock's ticking. They only have so much time, to try and take what they have, have earned. And so both teams are trying to work to get anything that they can open, trying to remain patient, but again, not take too much time.
Buckby had a nasty stutter step, got it to Doss. Doss got it back to Buckby. Stens with the shot attempt. No good. So Frederick still keeping their minimal 2-point lead. Burton driving, trying to shake off Buckby. And that'll be a timeout called. Rightfully so. You're sitting at a minute 40. And you're in a tough position. You're still leading But Niwot still continuing their aggressiveness into overtime. And coming back after the brief timeout. Burton gets it to Martin. Martin back to Lechuga. Lechuga to Justice. You know, Zoe, if you're Frederick, do you want to see if you can maybe secure another 2 or 3 points before you kind of focus on keep away, or do you play keep away now like what they're doing?
They seem to know the kind of you're tiptoeing on the line of attacking and playing keep away. You're looking, you know, what I would do is you're looking to still, you know, score. You're not, but you're looking for the, you know, quote unquote perfect read or something that's wide open. And until you find it, you're just going to dribble the ball around until Niwot has to foul.
And Martin almost had the perfect read. Had a look in the corner. And Doss will get fouled. And this will bring them to the line. Justice. Which, I mean, maybe in this case, they don't even need a perfect read. They just need to play keep away if, never mind, they might need to.
Well, and with the position that Frederick is at, if Justice can make this basket, then it'll make it a 3-point game, forcing Niwot, you know, to have to make a shot for outside the perimeter.
Or hypothetically make multiple scoring drives, but that is 10 times harder. So they'll be looking for kind of a deep look.
Well, and since, you know, Justice didn't make that, still a 2-point game, so now it can really make any read that they choose. So Frederick's back in this, you know, just trying to play straight up defense, get the ball back, keep your lead.
As Doss gets it to Buckby. Buckby goes up. And Lechuga. And Justice trying to do it himself. 29.1 seconds. As this will send Justice back to the line. We saw him struggle last time with these free throws. But a new opportunity, and as you said, this will push Niwot to have to go for the deep look. Justice got to calm his nerves. This shot is crucial, as is the second. The second, Justice is first. No good.
Justice needs to go into this next free throw with just confidence and poise. He knows what he's put in practice. You know, put the previous free throws percentage behind you and
don't focus on the first one. Focus on this one. That'll make it a 3-point game. 29.1 seconds for Niwot to make something happen. If they can't, this is all Frederick's basketball. 23.9 seconds, rightfully so, a timeout taken. This is testy waters now. 49-46. 23.9 seconds. Stens. Doss trips up. Keeps possession of the ball, though. They have 15 seconds. Niwot trips. Doss. As Whitecup loses the ball. But it'll still remain Niwot basketball. With 8 seconds, now you have to take this deep shot. Probably going to be looking to Doss. With how consistent he's been. As Doss getting cornered, 5 seconds. And it is no good. 0.4 seconds. As this will send Lechuga to the line for the final points of this game. And he capitalizes. That will put this game finally away. So Frederick moving to 11-10. (50-46) in overtime. Niwot's coach deflated after such a battle between these two. You can't help but respect him, though, for how much he pushed the team and the poise that they had throughout this entire game. They did not play at the caliber of a 4-17 team. They played at the same caliber, if not better, than Frederick up until that very last moment. Just Frederick got the better. So Frederick, winning an OT. As we're going to go down to the sideline now with Frida Wishman.
Thank you, Carly and Zoe. I'm down here with Caden Martin. Caden, really close game, good job. What does it mean to you to win on senior night?
It just feels great. You know, we lost Joe Ward early in the season, so tonight we just dedicated this game to him, so we went out and got a win.
In tough times like these, what helps to keep you grounded and stay calm in super close games like tonight?
Really just my teammates. We're like big on trying to stay together, and so when one of us gets too high or gets too low, our teammates are there to pick us back up.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win in senior night. Thank you. Back up to you, Carly and Zoe.
Thank you so much, Frida. As after the poise and perfection that the boys showed and the perseverance, 3 perfect Ps of the game. After those 3 perfect Ps, we're looking at a 50-point win for Frederick. Tonight's broadcast of varsity boys basketball between the Niwot Cougars and your Frederick Golden Eagles has been brought to you by a talented crew of students here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I've been the junior associate producer of GEBN, Carly Evans, alongside senior executive producer Zoe Wittler. Our directors tonight have been senior technical producer Mason Shafronic and sophomore content producer Griffin Baldwin. Our camera operators are sophomore Micah Sagapolote and junior Wyatt Morrison. Our production assistant is freshman Tyler, quote-unquote, Ty Tower Hewitt. The third member of our team down on the sideline is sophomore Frida Wishman. Be sure to follow along on X and Instagram at FHSGEBN for all the highlights and updates. Until then, for everyone at FHS, I'm Carly Evans, and you've been watching the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. And that's Carly Evans signing off for this boys basketball season. I'll see you guys next season. Bye.